Hello, and welcome to the walkthrough webinar for the 2024-2025 free application for federal student aid, commonly known as the FAFSA. Are you wondering what FAFSA is and why it is important? The free application for federal student aid, commonly known as the FAFSA, is the main application used to apply for federal and state-supported financial aid to pay for a college education. Completing and submitting the FAFSA is free, easy, and provides you access to the largest source of financial aid available. The 2024-2025 FAFSA became available on December 31st, 2023. The FAFSA can be used to determine eligibility for federal student aid, which includes Pell Grants and student loans, state financial aid, such as the HOPE programs, institutional financial aid, which is financial aid offered by a college, and private financial aid, which are scholarships and grants provided by businesses or other organizations. Now, let's jump into the FAFSA form. To access the FAFSA, visit www.fafsa.gov. It is important to note that the 2024-2025 FAFSA form is specifically to apply for aid during the fall, spring, and summer semesters of the 2024-2025 school year. If you need to apply for aid before this period, such as summer of 2024, you must complete the 2023-2024 FAFSA in addition to the 2024-2025 FAFSA so that there is no gap in your funding. Also remember that the FAFSA must be completed annually to secure aid each consecutive year. To start the FAFSA, click on Start FAFSA Form under 2024-2025 FAFSA Form. To begin, the student must log into the FAFSA using their username and password, also known as the FSA ID. Both student and contributors will need to have a verified FSA ID before beginning the FAFSA. To create an FSA ID, select Create an Account on this page or visit studentaid.gov and select Create an Account. Please note that the FSA ID will take 3 to 10 days to be verified and be ready for use. Once logged in, our sample student will select Student as the role of the person completing the FAFSA. When the student starts the 2024-2025 FAFSA form for the first time, they are taken through the FAFSA onboarding process. The 4-step onboarding process reviews and prepares the student for completing the FAFSA form. We recommend taking the time to review each step. The first onboarding page provides an overview of the FAFSA form and an accompanying video. The second FAFSA onboarding page provides information about the different roles that may be required to participate in the student's FAFSA form and documents that may be needed to fill out the form. The third FAFSA onboarding page provides information about the types of questions the student can expect to see and how they can get additional help with filling out the FAFSA form. The last FAFSA onboarding page provides information about what to expect once the FAFSA form is completed and submitted. On this page, the student can select Start the FAFSA form to begin. This is the first page within the student section. The student can verify that their personal information is correct. To update any of the personal information, the student must access their account settings on studentaid.gov. For fields related to the student's mailing address, the student can edit them directly on this page. The student is asked about their state of legal residence. The student selects the state from a drop-down box and provides the month and year when they became a legal resident. The next page informs the student about consent and their federal tax information. Consent is required by all contributors to successfully transfer information from the IRS into the FAFSA form, which is called the Direct Data Exchange. Consent is necessary to qualify for any federal financial aid. By providing consent, the student's federal tax information is transferred directly into the FAFSA form from the IRS to help complete the student's financial section. Please note that this section contains legal terminology. We strongly advise reading through it and consulting the frequently asked questions at the bottom for further clarification. The student selects Approve to provide consent and is taken to the next page. Let's delve into the specific sections of the FAFSA form. The first section is the personal circumstance section, where it is determined if the student is considered dependent or independent. Dependent students are required to provide information about their parents on the FAFSA form. Independent students will not need parental information. Additionally, in this section, we will determine which parents are required to complete the parent section of the FAFSA. This is applicable only to dependent students. This is the first page within the student personal circumstances section. It provides an overview of the section. While the FAFSA does not directly ask for your age, individuals who are 24 years old or older as of January 2024 are considered independent. The following questions will help determine your dependency status. The student is asked about their marital status. Students who are married or remarried are considered independent students. However, in our example, we are focusing on a single student. The student is then asked about their college grade level for the 2024-2025 school year and if they will have their first bachelor's degree. Our sample student is a high school graduate that selects that they will be a first year freshman and that they will not have their first bachelor's degree. The following questions will delve into personal circumstances to determine your dependency status. Take a moment to review these items. If none of these apply, select None of these apply. Homelessness is another circumstance that qualifies for independence. This question asks if at any time on or after July 1st of 2023 was the student unaccompanied and either homeless or self-supporting and at risk of being homeless. The form will then ask about any unusual circumstances preventing contact with parents or posing a risk to the student if they reach out to their parents. The FAFSA provides examples for guidance in this section. After completing these questions, the FAFSA will provide your status as either a dependent student or an independent student. Based on the answers provided by our sample student, they are considered a dependent student, which means the student is required to provide parent information for the FAFSA form. The student is asked if they want a financial aid administrator to determine their eligibility for a direct unsubsidized loan only. This is an option if the student's parents are unwilling to provide information. In such cases, the student may only qualify for a direct unsubsidized student loan. If this applies to you, select yes. However, in most cases, you'll likely select no to pursue all federal financial aid opportunities and provide parental information. In our example, the student has access to their parents' information and will be utilizing it on the FAFSA. As the student is considered dependent, they are asked to provide information about their parents. The FAFSA form considers their parent to be their legal, biological, or adoptive parent. The student is asked if their parents are married. If yes, the information about both parents is required. If not, it asks if the parents are unmarried and living together. A yes response requires information about both parents, while a no response indicates divorced or separated. If your parents are divorced or separated, the parent providing the most financial support in the past 12 months is the one required to provide information on the FAFSA. If both parents provided equal support or did not financially support you at all, refer to the parent with a greater income or assets. Once you have determined who is the contributing parent, the next question addresses whether the contributing parent has remarried. If so, information about both the contributing parent and the step parent is required. Otherwise, only information about the contributing parent is needed. Our sample student selects yes and is required to invite their parents to their FAFSA form to complete the required parent sections. The student is asked to enter personal information about the parents in order to send them an invitation to the FAFSA form. In our example, we'll proceed assuming the contributing parent has remarried. It is mandatory to invite the contributing parent to the FAFSA form. In households with two parents, at least one parent's information must be provided to move forward. Ensure that the inserted information matches exactly with the parent's FSA ID information. Any differences will prevent the parent from accessing the FAFSA form. Double check this information with your parents before you proceed. If your parents encounter login issues due to an error, they will be unable to access the FAFSA until you, as the student, logs into your FAFSA and edit their invitation to match the parent's FSA ID information. Now, let's dive into the students' demographic section. This is the first view within the student demographic section, and it provides an overview of the section. Initially, it asks about the student's gender, race, and ethnicity. Note that these responses do not impact your eligibility for aid, and you'll have an option to select Prefer Not to Answer. Next, the FAFSA will ask about the student's citizenship status, categorized into three groups. For students who are U.S. citizens or nationals, you are required to have a social security number to complete the FAFSA. Eligible non-citizens need to provide their A number and also require a social security number to complete the FAFSA. If you are unsure if you qualify as an eligible non-citizen, we recommend searching eligible non-citizen FAFSA in a search engine to find more information. Look up the link that is from studentaid.gov. On this web page, you can determine if you fall into the category of an eligible non-citizen and check if you qualify for aid. If you are ineligible for aid from the FAFSA, this form will stop at a certain point, preventing further progress. In such cases, we recommend contacting your college to explore available aid or scholarships outside of federal student aid. The following question will ask about your parents' education status, specifically whether either of them attended or completed college. Next, it will ask if a parent was killed in the line of duty while they were either serving on active duty as a member of the armed forces during the events of 9/11 or while performing official duties as a public safety officer. Following this, the application will ask about your high school completion status. Choose the most applicable answer. In our example, the student will be graduating with a high school diploma. The FAFSA will ask about the high school you are graduating from or have graduated from. Search for your high school and select the correct option. If your school isn't listed, manually input its name, city, and state. Double check that your school information is correct. Next is the student's financial section of the FAFSA. Please keep in mind that the majority of your financial information is transferred from the IRS directly into the FAFSA. Some of the tax information that is not automatically transferred over are as follows. One, IRS rollovers into another IRA or qualified plan. Two, pension rollovers into an IRA or other plans. Three, reporting college grants, scholarships, or AmeriCorps benefits as income to the IRS. This is optional and not for first-time applicants. And four, reporting foreign earned income exclusion, which is money earned in a foreign country that wasn't taxed. For student assets, report current amounts as of the day you are completing the FAFSA. The question asks, as of today, what is the total cash, savings, and checking accounts? You will add your different amounts together for a total number and provide that amount here. Next, calculate the total net worth of your investments, including real estate. However, do not include the net worth of the student's primary residence. Investments required to report include assets such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, 529 education savings plans, secondary homes or real estate, cryptocurrencies, and other investments. Moving to the next section, you will select all the colleges where you want to send your FAFSA information. Search by state, city, or college name to add up to a maximum of 20 colleges. It is wise to list all potential options to avoid returning later and having to add them. Once your college choices are entered, the student will select Continue. At this point, you have completed entering the required student information for your sections and can proceed to review and sign the form. The review page displays the responses that the student has provided in the FAFSA form. The student can view all of their responses by selecting Expand All or expand each section individually. To edit a response, the student can select the question's hyperlink and will be taken to the corresponding page. Additionally, since the student invited their parents into the form, you can see the parent contributor section and the status of your parent's invitation. On this page, the student acknowledges the terms and conditions of the FAFSA form and signs their section. We recommend reviewing this information before submitting. After agreeing and signing, the student is able to submit their section of the FAFSA form. For our example student, the FAFSA form is not considered complete until the parent has completed their sections of the FAFSA. Upon signing the student section, the student is presented the student section complete page. This page displays information for the student about next steps, including tracking their FAFSA form. The student is reminded that their form is not completed and can't be submitted until the parent completes the contributor sections of the form and signs it. Next, in this scenario, the student's invited parents will enter the FAFSA form and complete the parent section. Let's delve into the parent's contribution of the FAFSA. This is not a view within studentaid.gov nor the FAFSA form. This view demonstrates a parent opening the FAFSA invitation from their email. The parent selects Log In and is taken to studentaid.gov. The parent will then log in with their FSA ID. If they do not have an FSA ID, they can create an account here. After successfully logging in, the parent is taken to their My Activity page. The parent will see the invitation to be a contributor on the student's FAFSA form. The FAFSA will then provide some onboarding items with some frequently asked questions and will also state that the FAFSA form will not be processed until the parent completes their sections, provides consent, and sign the form. The parent will also have a 4-step onboarding similar to the student, and we recommend reviewing each of these steps. After onboarding, the parent will review their identity information in accordance with their federal student aid account or FSA ID. They will want to review their permanent mailing address to make sure that that's correct and move forward. This page informs the parent about consent and their federal tax information. By providing consent, the parent's federal tax information is transferred directly into the FAFSA form from the IRS to help complete the parent financials section. Just as a reminder, the student will not be eligible for any federal financial aid if the parent declines this. Here, the parent selects Approve to provide consent and is taken to the next page. Next, the FAFSA will ask about the parent's demographics. The form will ask about the parent's current marital status. To review who is required to have an FSA ID, fill out the FAFSA, and provide consent and sign the FAFSA depends on the tax filing status of the parents. If the parent is single, the form will only need that parent to fill out the FAFSA. This is the same with widowed parents that have not since remarried. If the parents are unmarried and living together, they are going to have separate tax returns, so both parents are required to fill out and sign the FAFSA. If parents are married or remarried and they file taxes jointly for 2022, then only one parent will need to log in, provide consent, and sign the FAFSA form. Now, if they are married or remarried and file their taxes separately, both parents are required to fill out and sign the FAFSA. If the parents are separated or divorced, whoever has provided the most financial support to the student in the past 12 months, the FAFSA will use that parent's information. And if that parent has remarried, the FAFSA will need the step parent's information, and depending if they filed separately or jointly, will determine if they are required to log in and sign. Next, the FAFSA will ask about the parent's state of legal residence. Now, if the parent creates their FSA ID and their identity has been processed, which can take 3 to 10 business days, then they should be able to automatically transfer their tax data over from the IRS, which means that the tax questions should be automatically answered with the parent's finances. Here are the additional financial questions that the parent will see. First, we have the federal benefits received. Keep in mind that these answers do not affect the eligibility of federal financial aid for the student. The form will ask about family size. This question is automatically populated from your tax return, so if you didn't claim someone from your family on your taxes, you'll want to select yes here and add that additional person or persons. Be sure to read the instructions on who you can list as part of the family. Then the FAFSA will ask about the number of family members attending college. This does not include the parents, but do report the student completing the FAFSA and any additional family members. Next, the form will ask for some tax return information that was not automatically transferred over. Items such as earned income tax credit, reporting college grants, scholarships, or AmeriCorps benefits as income to the IRS, and reporting foreign earned income exclusion, which is money earned in a foreign country that wasn't taxed. Falling under untaxed income is child support. The first question asks, what is the total amount of child support that the parent received for the last complete calendar year? For parent assets, report current amounts as of the day you are completing the FAFSA. The question asks, as of today, what is the total cash, savings, and checking accounts? You will add your different amounts together for a total number and insert that here. Next, calculate the total net worth of your investments, including real estate. However, do not include the net worth of the student's primary residence. Investments required to report include assets such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, 529 education savings accounts, secondary homes or real estate, cryptocurrencies, and any other investments. If the parents own a 529 education savings accounts for their children, parents only have to report the amount for the student who is completing the FAFSA and no other children, if the parent has multiple children. Now, if someone other than the parent owns the 529 account and the student is the beneficiary, we do not have to report that 529 on the FAFSA. This would be for situations of grandparents, aunts, uncles, or others who would be the owner of the account and the student is the beneficiary. Finally, the review page displays the responses that the parent has provided in the FAFSA form. In this scenario, the parent can only view responses within the parent section of the student's FAFSA form. The parent can view all of their responses by selecting Expand All or expand each section individually. To edit a response, the parent can select the question's hyperlink to be taken to the corresponding page. Then you're going to sign the FAFSA. We recommend reviewing this information before submitting. After doing so, you will check the signature box and click Sign. Upon submitting the student's FAFSA form, the parent is presented an abbreviated confirmation page. This page displays information about tracking the student's FAFSA form and next steps. The student will receive an email with the full detailed confirmation. With the student and parent sections completed and signed, the FAFSA form is now considered complete and submitted for processing. Lastly, let's delve into the FAFSA submission summary. The student receives a FAFSA submission summary for their processed FAFSA form and any subsequent corrections that they submit. Keep in mind that the FAFSA submission summary will not be available until March of 2024. The FAFSA submission summary is broken into 4 tabs: Eligibility Overview, FAFSA Form Answers, School Information, and Next Steps. At the top, the student will see information about when their form was received and processed. They also have the option to print their FAFSA submission summary to keep for their records. On the Eligibility Overview tab, the student will see information about what federal student aid they may be eligible for, such as federal Pell Grant and federal direct loans. You are also able to view the Student Aid Index. This number can be a negative or a positive number, and this number is sent to the colleges you listed, and those colleges will use that number to calculate the need that you have as a student. The schools that you have applied to and accepted to will send you an offer letter and additional information about financial aid. Any amounts of federal financial aid that display on this tab are estimates and are not guaranteed. Final determination of the student's financial aid eligibility is provided by their school's financial aid office. The second tab is the FAFSA Form Answers. This is where you can review all of the information that you and your parents provided on the FAFSA. This is also where you can make a correction if there is something you need to update or if there's an error on your form. The third tab is the school information. This tab shows all the colleges that you listed on your FAFSA with some additional statistics about each college that you can review. You can see the graduation rates, retention rates, the transfer rates, median debt upon completion, average annual cost, etc. On the Next Steps tab, the student will see comments that pertain to their FAFSA form. Some comments may require the student to start a correction or send additional documentation to their school. Please keep an eye out for a red indicator, which can indicate if you have an error and if it needs to be fixed. This tab is where you will receive any error messages and what next steps you would need to take. It may even tell you whether or not you have been selected for verification. Verification means that the college needs to follow up with you on some information, and you will need to provide additional documentation to confirm that information. The college will provide instructions on what is required, and you will be unable to qualify for federal financial aid until you complete your verification. Other comments under Next Steps may be informational and do not require any further action from the student. Lastly, along the right side of their FAFSA submission summary, the student can choose from additional resources, including aid summary or college scorecard. We would like to share some additional resources with you to assist with completing the 2024-2025 FAFSA. StudentAid.gov and its affiliated sites have a wealth of information about federal financial aid. Visit this website to learn more about the types of aid available and how to apply for the aid. Also, remember for inquiries or assistance with your individual financial aid package, please reach out to your college. They will provide the most accurate and detailed guidance and support about next steps for their institution. Another resource on studentaid.gov is the Federal Student Aid Estimator. Students and parents can use the Federal Student Aid Estimator to help plan how the student's education will be funded. It allows you to see how much federal student aid a student may be eligible to receive. GA Futures is Georgia's free online resource helping students of all ages with tools and information to plan for, apply to, and pay for college. Our website has sections dedicated to state and federal financial aid. Please visit our site to learn more about the resources that are available to Georgia students. You can also find a FAFSA checklist and information about paying for college under the Resources tab on gafutures.org. Just a reminder, students must meet the academic eligibility requirements for HOPE programs as well as complete an application to receive the funding. The Georgia Student Finance Application, also known as the GSF app, is an application used to apply for the HOPE Scholarship, HOPE Grant, Zell Miller Scholarship, Zell Miller Grant, and a couple of other state aid programs. Students must complete a FAFSA or the GSF app to meet the application requirements for HOPE programs. The GSF app is valid for 10 years and the application is available on gafutures.org. Georgia Student Finance Commission offers financial aid counseling, workshops, and trainings in a number of ways to a variety of audiences. Each student, parent, and institution has an outreach representative. Let us help you plan, apply, and pay for college. You can also call our 1-800 number or email our client services email with any questions you may have. We invite you to connect with us on our GA Futures Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram for all of the latest and greatest financial aid tips, resources, reminders, and more. Thank you for attending today's webinar. Best of luck with your higher education and financial aid journey.